Clemson early signing day was today. It was an exciting day. Rivals.com, which is kind of the website that Alan and I like to use. But Rivals.com has Clemson as the number one recruiting class right now after national or early signing day. Clemson, 23 total signs, 6 5-stars, 13 4-stars, 4 3-stars, an average of 4.09 stars, and total recruiting points of 3,100 points, which I don't really know what that means, but it sounds like a lot. It sounds good. Now, Alan, you were saying you like to break it up between players who committed early, but I think what we'll do is, or who's going to be able to enroll early. If you check out at Clemson Morgan over on Twitter, I got a list of the players that are enrolling early. 16 out of the 23, I believe, or 17 out of the 23 are going to be enrolling early. You're talking 3 weeks from today. They're going to be on campus with book bags and with their pillow, with their special pillow, with their favorite pillow and their favorite blanket, and they're going to be getting their cleats on, getting sized up for pads and for helmets, and getting ready to play for the Clemson Tigers going into 2020. Exciting time for the Tigers. Al, let's start off with players who committed first. There are players, Al, committed back in early or mid 2018, and let's just show them some love. DeMonte Capehart, defensive tackle, Bradenton, Florida, 6'6", 300 pounds, 4 stars, 6 rating on Rivals, which basically is so close to a 5-star. It's not even funny, but he committed back in June 5th of 2018.
Yeah, he's a huge guy. Obviously, there's a lot of pass rush ability from the interior of the line there because he projects to play defensive tackle. He transferred to IMG Academy, got some work in there against some top competition. So really looking forward to what he can do at Clemson.
Next up, Sergio Allen, back in July 26th of 2018, committed and stuck with the Tigers from Fort Valley. That's a Georgia Bulldog recruiting bed area. 6'2", 215, 4-star linebacker.
Yeah, obviously, what he lacks in size. Obviously, you'd like him to have be a little bit taller, anyways. Maybe a little bit bigger, but he's got a pretty good weight on him, anyways. He makes up for intelligence and closing speed. He's a very smart player, so really looking forward to what he can do once he gets Venables' system down. You've
got John Williams, offensive lineman, 6'5", 275. Walker Parks, 6'5", 275. He is nearly a 5-star guy on Rivals. Sometimes I think some places do have him 5-star. Paul Chio, he's from Milton, Georgia, 6'5", 320. Another 4-star that's close to being a 5-star too. So 3 big-time offensive linemen back to back to back. So doing really good there for the Clemson offensive line coach. Another big defensive tackle, Trey Williams from Washington, D.C., 6'3", 290, 4-star on January 26th. And another guy on the exact same day, Kevin Swint. I actually talked about this by myself when I was doing the show by myself. Kevin Swint, guy that I feel like is, he is a really good linebacker as well. So 6'3", 223. I mean, we're talking about guys that haven't even finished high school yet.
Yeah, Trey Williams is obviously a big frame guy, a lot of power. He's a little bit shorter than, you'd like your defensive tackles to be, obviously, in an ideal world. I think of him kind of as a bigger Tyler Davis, and if anybody has watched Tyler Davis play this year, they will take that every single time. Like you were talking about, Kevin Swint, he has great size for a linebacker. He's one that, obviously a linebacker committed really early.
Yeah, most of the recruiting sites are saying that Allen is a big tackling machine. Sergio Allen is a big tackling machine in the middle of the field, while Kevin Swint is more that length and athletic guy to the outside. So great 1-2 combination if they're on the field at the same time. After them, it goes into early of March of 2019, this year. Mitchell Mays, offensive lineman, and Brian Tucker both committed. Mays from Raleigh, North Carolina, Tucker from Knoxville, Tennessee, both 4-star guys, both 6'5", both over 300 pounds. And then you get into some of the defensive side of the ball again. R.J. Mickens and Allen, these guys started committing. This is about the time that you were full-time on the show. This is in April. Mm-hmm. You've got R.J. Mickens, Fred Davis, and Brian Brissy. So 2 defensive backs, 1 defensive tackle, all big-time studs there. R.J. Mickens probably would be a 5-star if he hadn't got injured in his junior year. He's from Southlake, Texas, 6 foot tall, 187. Then you got Fred Davis. Man, he's a 5-star guy, a 6'2" guy, big outside, tall outside guy that can cover anybody. Got that length. His footwork looks a little weird. And even Walt Deptula said this on a show earlier today. And then Brian Brazee.
Brazee,
not Breesy, because we've been saying Breesy this whole time. So Brazee, and that's what Dabo Swinney out of his mouth earlier today. So Brazee, Damascus, Maryland, 6'5", 290. Many people have him as the number 1 overall recruit. They said he's like a defensive tackle. He's like a JJ Watt type, but plays defensive tackle. He's like a Christian Wilkins, but plays angrier. Yeah. And I don't know what that is, but I'm scared.
Yeah, RJ Mickens, like you said, he's the son of former NFL cornerback Ray Mickens. He's got good size, not great size. He has decent speed. I think he lacks some measurables to be a 5-star. Whether he plays like that in college or not is obviously a different story. But he's going to be a good one for the Tigers for sure. Like you said, he was injured a lot as well. And Fred Davis, a very physical corner. Long length, Venables and Reed really like the lengthy corners. I kind of think of this guy as a Terrell. He can play really well in press man coverage, that kind of thing. So looking forward to see if he can fill that role earlier rather than later. And then you talk about Brian Brazee, my favorite recruit of the class. Big surprise, he's the number 1 overall recruit in the country. This guy, there's no way you should ever be able to move the way he moves at that size. He's insanely powerful. He can shed blocks like there's nothing. He tosses people like rag dolls. But I don't only think he's the best defensive lineman to come through Clemson. I think he may be the best defensive player to ever come through Clemson.
Ooh, man. Write it down. December 18th, 2019. Alan said it. Obviously, big-time recruit, and we're excited about him. This is around that all-in cookout time frame when a lot of players that really love Clemson and are really just for sure they're going to go and join Dabo Swinney's team start to commit. This is when they kind of just started dropping within the next couple of days. So Brazee was the first, and then DeMarcus Bowman, big-time running back out of Lakeland, Florida. Everybody thought that would be an automatic lock to Florida. He's got 3 friends that played last year on his high school team that went to Florida to be a Gator. But Jeff Scott and company went down there and took him from Lakeland, Florida, and he decided that he wanted to be a Tiger instead of a Gator. 5'11", 190. Dabo Swinney says he is the next C.J. Spiller. Ooh, man, it just gives me cold chills to think about that. Him, DJ Uiagalelei, quarterback, Bellflower, California, 6'4", 235, gunslinger, probably the best quarterback in the nation outside of battling with Alabama's number 1 quarterback guy that's also from California. Then you have a defensive end, Miles Murphy, rounding out that laundry list of 5-star guys. Davis, Brazee, Bowman, Uiagalelei, and Murphy, all committed in May, and all 5 stars back to back to back. It is a great time to be a Tiger when something like that happens. 6 5-star recruits, according to Rivals, and more than likely, probably more, because if you really think about it, 1 or 2 recruiting analyst votes, and 5 or 6 more could have been 5 stars. Next up, you got Kobe Pryor, running back. Dabo Swinney says he's more of a Thunder, more of a big-time runner, more of a James Davis type guy, not as explosive as Bowman, but definitely has some really good key deliverables and measurables that he can bring to the table. It'd be a good offset from what Bowman can bring to the field. So kind of bouncing back and forth between those 2 guys is what we look forward to. Another guy from Georgia, right? Stealing them from the Dogs, 5'11", 205, 4-star, that he signed late May as well. Or middle of May. He was kind of the 4-star guy that kind of tacked on with those big 3-star guys. It kind of got overlooked a little bit because his stars aren't as many, but definitely a really good player there. Another guy you might be familiar with, Tyler Venables. Yes, he's the son of Brent Venables, and he's going to be playing more of a secondary role in a safety position. That's kind of what he's used to over there at Daniel. And Sage Ennis, a guy that we have some film on, we talked about earlier on this year, back in the summer, a pass catching tight end. Some big time wide receivers, Ajo and EJ Williams, both. One from Canada, didn't play a lot of traditional American football, but he has the athletic ability to dominate. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. E.J. Williams, a good friend of Justin Ross, wide receiver, also from Justin Ross's high school there, taken out of Alabama. He was the MVP of the Alabama-Mississippi game at the end of this year from Phoenix City, so not too far from Auburn there, 6'3", 183. Some big-time guys on the offensive side of the ball sprinkled in with Tyler Venables there. Trent Howard, offensive lineman from Birmingham, Alabama, 6'4", 285, 3-star. He committed on December 6th. Trenton Simpson, this was a big-time pickup for the Tigers. A lot of Clemson fans, and myself included, we're all looking at Justin Flo. As we know, what the development happened is that Dabo Swinney sent Brent Venables out there to talk to him. He spent a day or two out there last week to really kind of gauge what Justin Flo was going to do. Then Dabo Swinney called him over the weekend and said, hey, what are you going to do? Because I got a guy that's in our backyard in Charlotte, North Carolina that really wants to be here. He's a big-time 5-star guy, 6'3", 224. And he's saying that if we offer him right now, he'll flip from UNC. We can offer him right now. He says we can offer him right now, and he'll take it. He wants to be a Clemson man. What do you want to do? Because we offered you first and didn't get a good response. And so what does Dabo Swinney do? He says, hey, I have to take the guy that wants to be here, the guy that fits into the program. And also, I think from a strategic standpoint, taking a player from Oregon is not as strategically impactful as taking a 5-star guy from a team that almost beat you this year in your same conference. So if he was going to go to the Tar Heels, it's better to get that player. That's just strategy talking about. Clemson may never play Oregon. Oregon may never make it to the playoffs. But Clemson has a high likelihood of having to play Mac Brown, especially how he's been improving this team that was just in the gutter last year. The flip of the week, the flip of the day, Malcolm Green kind of started thinking that he was going to do this, but he was originally committed to LSU, another team that Clemson might play more frequently than Oregon. And Malcolm Green, originally defensive back, committed to the LSU Tigers from Highland Springs, Virginia, 5'10", 177 pounds, 4-star. He committed today and joined the Tigers to round out this amazing number 1 recruiting class. Just amazing to kind of go through these guys, even the little bit that we did.
But a guy that you didn't really mention, is kind of a side note to this class, is Tanner Tessman, the kicker, that is going to end up playing. I don't know if you heard about him. He's on soccer scholarship, but he's going to be, once he plays football, I think, or something like that, once he plays a snap, he's considered on football scholarship. So he will actually take a scholarship from football. I think that prevents teams from kind of mismanaging their recruiting and their scholarships to kind of give them to other people. So once you play football trumps anything. So he's going to get a kicker there. Look, a lot of people always want to talk about getting a kicker from the soccer team. People are always clamoring for that. Clemson's done it in the past and done it with some success. This guy's got a leg. Apparently, from what I hear, he can kick with both legs, right or left. So it's pretty impressive stuff, and he can boom it a long way. Really interested to see what this guy can do.
He's amphibious.
That's right. He's amphibious.
I played soccer in high school, and I played 1 year in college as a practice dummy. And just so funny to hear you say he can kick with both legs, because like that's kind of what you have to do in soccer. Like it's not like if you can't do that, then you're probably not going to play very much. Yeah. So it's just funny, it's like saying he can dribble with both hands,
Is that why you didn't play much? Kick with both legs?
That's why I was on defense and I was a practice dummy. But no, I got a little bit of a left foot, man. I can kick it a little ways. I'm not David Beckham out here, but I tried my best.